Okay, what's that? You're very careful on everything.
Yeah, stuff that-
What else? We never followed through with it,
All right.
I guess.
Pledge allegiance to the flag
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Did you hit that part?
All right, today is May 12th, 6:30, it's our community of a home meeting. Thank you for joining us today here and at home. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Dixon?
Here.
Commissioner Weeding?
Here.
Commissioner Walsh?
Here.
Commissioner Michael?
Here.
Mayor Lyons?
Here.
We have a quorum.
All right, next on the agenda for community of whole is approval of minutes. Need a motion for approval of minutes for the community of whole meeting that was on Tuesday, April 14, 2026.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Commissioner Walsh?
Yes.
Commissioner Dixon?
Yes.
Commissioner Weeding?
Yes.
Commissioner Michael?
Yes.
Mayor Lyons?
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, our first discussion item on tonight's community of the whole would be the Motorola presentation. Josh, you're on the clock. Would you get 40 seconds or
On
something?
the clock, Steve got his stopwatch going over there.
4 minutes and 38 seconds.
So this is 40, not 40, I don't negotiate. So, everybody knows that Braidwood we have currently what's called Everbridge, that's our community mass notification system. It's provided through Will County 911, and they are actually going to be changing providers. They're going to be switching from Everbridge to a program called Motorola Rave. So overall, the concept remains unchanged. What it's going to be used for, how it's going to be used, that kind of thing. From a back end, really, for you guys, it's not going to change very much. But there's a lot of enhanced features with Motorola Rave. Also, one of the good things for the city is right now we pay a yearly fee to buy into Everbridge. With Motorola Rave, Will County 911 is providing that free of charge. So there's not being charged any longer that we have to pay for that. The only downfall that we have right now is that the opt-in enrollments from Everbridge, everybody that signed up via the QR code, the app, online, that kind of thing, those are not going to transfer over into Rave. So we're going to have to do a lot of marketing and campaigns to try to get people signed back up for this program. Since we rolled it out in October of 2023, you can see over 800 Braidwood residents had directly enrolled in Everbridge. That's a really good statistic. So that tells us that we're going to have quite a bit of work to try to get those people back enrolled into Rave. Again, why are they switching? Because several enhanced features. And also, Everbridge has been around for quite a while. And the problem with that is they know that people have moved, some people have passed away, changed their numbers and so on and so forth, haven't maintained their profiles. So this is going to be a way to help clean that up, kind of give it a fresh slate, get it more back up to date with what currently needs to be in there. As far as targeted rollout timeframe, so in June 1st, they're going to have all of our community functionality fully configured for us. And that's going to now allow us to do a coordinated countywide outreach and public awareness campaign. All the different communities that are part of this are going to have to do the same thing. So the county's going to kind of help us to do that all as one big group as well. We're going to do that, begin that opt-in enrollment for the community-based alerts. And then in order to receive community-based alerts, the public must create what's called a Smart 911 account and opt into the alerts if they wish to receive them. July 1st is the targeted full implementation date for Rave. So how do we get this going? Again, we're going to do that registration and public education kickoff. We got to do that aggressive PR campaign like we did in the very beginning. Kind of how it's used for, the messages we're going to send out via the current Everbridge system to let users that are currently enrolled know that, hey, you've got to sign up for this new program if you want to continue to receive these notifications. Social media, Facebook, our Nextdoor account, really push those out on there. And again, the printed materials, we're going to have the new business cards printed up with new QR information and everything for direct enrollments. And of course, public education events. When we talk about targeted PR campaigns, we're going to have to gear those towards residents without access to computers or smartphones like we did with Everbridge. The senior housing complexes, senior citizen groups, and also still have that paper registration option that'll be available with forms here at City Hall where they can fill them out, turn them in, and we'll sign them up for the program. So, Smart 911, that's a big feature of this new program. It has a lot of really great components. So why do you sign up for it? As you can see, with information that's displayed when someone calls 911, information on a mobile 911 call, really a lot of times phone number, sometimes your location, depending on the type of phone, GPS, that kind of thing. A landline 911 call, you get some more information, but with Smart 911, you can put in information that you want to share with the 911 dispatcher when you call 911, okay? That's a huge pro for this. So what is it? It's a smart and secure website that individuals create a safety profile on with valuable information, so when they call 911, it displays to the call takers and also transfers down to the first responders that are responding. And this is a free service. It does not cost anything for anyone to create a Smart 911 account. It's easy. You can do it via an app. You can do it online. It keeps profiles up to date. This system does provide free geo-based weather notifications. Everbridge, that was something that they did not want to use it for because it required a lot of manual input and stuff like that. This program, however, is going to allow that. And location-aware alerting. It's quick and easy, takes less than 5 minutes. The information that you provide will automatically show up on the 911 call taker's screen that when you make that emergency call. And these details can save seconds or even minutes during an emergency. So you can control what information you want to put into your Smart 911 profile. You can put as much as you want, you can put as little as you want. With this, again, you can include home and work addresses, any other phone numbers. If you have pets, you can include that in there, photos of your pets as well, any other household residents, emergency contacts, and any vehicle information that you might need. So how does it work? So when you put your information into your profile, this is the stuff that you would see. But what the 911 dispatcher sees would be a lot of the same information, a lot of great detail that they can have. So if you have unknown address or location, a lot of this is geo-targeting, so it really knows down to the fine point where you're at. You can put in mobile phone information, again, home, work, school information in there. So that way 911 knows who's calling and where they're located if the signals aren't very good from your phone. So let's say that the caller can't communicate, they're having a medical emergency, they're choking, something along those lines, heart attack or something. They can see your profile if you wanted to put your medical information in there. Known conditions, any allergies, medications, all that kind of stuff. And that's information that you don't need to solely rely on the call taker to obtain from you, verbally. Again, during a medical emergency, you can have all that information in there, and it provides that information again to the first responders as they're responding to the incident. If you have a missing child, you can create, as part of your children information, you can put their pictures in there. Also, if let's say that they're a family that has a child with autism or special needs, they can put information into this program. That way, if responders are responding out, they know all the different things for the autism profile, what they need to be aware of responding to the incident, and also photos. They can distribute those right to the first responders with a click of a button, so that way they know who exactly they're looking for. Again, you decide what you want to include. Put as much as you want, as little as you want. And it's only seen if you call 911. We can't get into the profile to look and see, be nosy or anything along those lines. It only shows up to the 911 call taker when you place that 911 call. And again, it's a very secure site, industry-leading security. Provides more accurate mobile caller location. Again, that enhanced 911 data gives that call taker improved consolidated location that helps to refine that mobile automatic location information into a single view. The mobile ALI, that's the primary source of 911 location information. And rapid SOS is also something that helps when, especially you don't have really good cell service. A lot of times if you have GPS, satellite signals, or even Wi-Fi technology if you're hooked up to a Wi-Fi. You can create your profile. Once we get this rolled out, you'll be able to go online on there, or you can download the app from the App Store or the Google Play account in order to create your profile. Any questions? So like I said, it's going to be a pretty enhanced PR campaign just to get everyone signed back up.
And there's no cost.
There is no cost. There is absolutely no cost to the city to do this, no cost to the resident to do this. So it's a great thing, and again, it can be used for all the same things that we've been using Everbridge for. You know, if we decide to do a community newsletter, we can utilize it for that, for direct registration. So I think it's gonna be definitely good.
So is Everbridge, so Everbridge is going away completely?
Yeah, Everbridge, the contract with Will County is done July 31st, so
Okay.
we're hoping to completely transition by July 1st.
So that's the drop dead date is wrong, July 1st, July 31st.
Yeah.
And did the city pay for the Everbridge?
We did. The agreement that the city had between Will County 911, who is the parent organization that has the contract with Everbridge, was like $195 a year, something along those lines. It was very cheap, because they prorated based on population size, and every community based on their population that participated in it paid in to get a chunk of the service.
So how does Motorola get their funding from the county?
So Will County 911 is paying for the service. So at the county level, they're the ones paying for it, but they're just allowing all the municipalities underneath to have access for it for free.
So we are, because there's a service charge on your phone bill for
Or
911.
am I,
That's how the
on
county
the
funds
taxes,
it.
I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, so.
So that's how it's being paid for, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
Good stuff, thank you.
Thanks, Rob. Thanks, Josh.
Okay, next up on our discussion is gonna be the Comcast packet update. Josh, you're up on that one too.
So for that one, it's in the board action packet, it kind of outlines it, describes what we're doing. So the redundant failover, now that we have Surf Internet as the primary service now for the City Hall and Police Department, as well as Public Works Complex. So now for the City Hall and Police Department, we need to get that redundant failover. We were gonna try to do T-Mobile, the wireless routers. Unfortunately, we realized after getting into it that unfortunately it was not going to do what we needed to do. So now we're gonna stick with Comcast that we currently have as well. But we need to update that package. The package that we have with Comcast is extremely outdated, no longer available, and it costs quite a bit. So now by updating the package that we have, to make it so we're at the speed that we need if we do have to fail over to it, but it also reduces the cost just a little bit on the city's end, so. The current package that we're paying for both the police department side and then the city hall side pays is $304.84 a month. And the new cost would be $296.90. The benefit for redundant failover, again, is if Comcast or Surf Internet goes down, it automatically switches to Comcast, so that way all the internet service, phone service stays up and running, so you have that continuity of operations. So we can have this on the agenda for the next council meeting for approval.
All right, thank you. Any comments from the board?
36-month agreement, so the price stays the same for that line.
Yeah, for the term of 36, yeah.
Okay, next up is Brian, you're up, resolution, the city of Braidwood in support municipal authority on land use and zoning.
Yeah, so this is a resolution that's in conjunction with an initiative by the Illinois Municipal League to oppose some bills that are in Springfield right now that they're considering passing here in the next couple weeks. And it's largely targeted towards, taking care of the housing shortage. And what it's doing is imposing some regulations upon municipalities to allow for higher density housing, less restrictions in terms of setbacks and square footage of homes, so on and so forth. It's taking all the responsibility away from local governments to regulate their own residential sections of housing and contradicting whatever we just put in place, at least in part through our comprehensive plan. We paid a lot of money to figure out where we want to go with our city, and the state of Illinois is saying, now let's put that aside. We have an initiative here, we want to build houses in areas where there's undeveloped places without considering the municipality's needs. So this resolution is just basically saying we support municipalities' authority to regulate housing and regulate their own zoning without this state of Illinois telling us how to do it. So if we pass this, we then send it on to Illinois Municipal League, and Illinois Municipal League is lobbying against this bill in Springfield, but now they can use all of the resolutions that we're going to municipalities to say, here's how many people formally oppose the bill.
Do you see this happening in other communities that you work with?
Yeah, and, you know, I wasn't too, I didn't know where this was gonna go in Springfield, but I just attended a legislative update the other day in Grundy County, and Sue Resin was specifically talking on it, and she thinks it's very favorable that it's gonna pass.
So it does have teeth, huh?
It's, yeah, and her rationale is that, you know, Pritzker seems like he's going to run for president, and it's a great, you know, resume builder for him to say that he's addressing the housing shortage. We just saw with the New York election how affordability was everything. We don't have houses that are affordable right now, so he would get to say he's addressing that issue. So she's fearful that it will get passed. So anything we can do to help.
So, yeah, we
maintain
encourage
municipal
residents
authority.
to contact their legislators and the council and say, hey, this is not a good deal for Braidwood nor for the state of Illinois. And hopefully the legislators will listen to their constituents and not worry about the governor's ambition.
To direct.
And you meet legislators outside of our district too.
It doesn't
Because
matter.
there's people in Chicago are gonna be voting for this.
Yeah.
No,
They control it, I mean, they
Cook
control
County,
the.
Cook County is gonna, yeah.
So even if we call our local people, it's not enough. But the people up north, they're not gonna care what happens down here.
And it's pretty, I guess, I use the word funny, but Cook County is not involved in this, right? So it's everybody else.
But they make the decision.
But Cook County makes the decision for the rest of the state. You know, it's ridiculous.
I agree.
So this is kind of a protest kind of thing. We don't want it, and then it's up to the state inevitably to make that vote.
Right.
Okay.
Hopefully, the legislators see the outcry from municipal governments, from their constituents, and they think twice before they vote yes for this.
Okay.
That's the goal behind this.
Gotcha.
All right, moving on to our fourth item is repealing the Citizens Beautification Commission from the City of Braidwood's Code of Ordinance. Steve, you're up on this one?
Yeah, and I'll just be very brief. I put in my board updates, I met with Karen and Danita. We talked about the path forward for the Beautification Commission. And Karen and Danita both said, hey, we want to tone this down a little bit from the standpoint of the formality of the commission. We want to be just more of getting volunteers, having a few planting events and an idea type committee. So in a way that we can do this and not make it as formal is to repeal the existing ordinance that creates the commission, and then we would create a committee that is less formal. So the committee does not have to be a formal ordinance by the city council, but it's appointed by the mayor, volunteers, and we have some liaisons from the city government and from city staff to serve on this committee. Karen and Danita said, yes, we'd love to be on this committee, but we don't want to be as formal, and we don't want it to be as under the microscope as a commission is. And so the way to do that is to create this committee and repeal the commission. And we did have a planting event last week in April, which was successful from a standpoint of getting the job done. We'd certainly like more volunteers. But now once we get this committee started, we can start formalizing some things and moving forward with some of the beautification ideas that this town wishes to have.
I think that was what the initial idea was, but whenever you get like attorneys involved, not mentioning names, you know, they like to formalize things.
So that's a perfect example. So as a commission, you have to publicize the meeting dates, right?
Yes.
You have to have meeting minutes. You have to have reports. You have to have budgetary control if that's what's. This really downgrades that to more of a committee that's looking to get volunteers for specific events that the city and the committee kind of collaborate on and come up with different type of events.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. They can meet for coffee, they can go to somebody's house, they don't have to be here, if they want to go somewhere in public and informal. setting.
You're right, it does not need to be posted.
So the formal part are the committee members, the people that are the heads of it, correct? The
Well-
volunteers are, I mean, They don't have to be here for meetings and things like that.
Right, so the formal part is, under the ordinance, under commission form of having these type of commissions, you have to post the meeting dates. You have to, you have to cancel a meeting within 48 hours.
So the main reason why that is because it's a public body of the city. So even if it's called a committee and even if it's less formal, if it is the city's committee on beautification and they hold meetings and there are members, it's still gonna be regulated by the same issue.
So you still have to post it.
Still, if it is a public body, if it's a part of the city of Braidwood and they are official members appointed by the mayor or council, it's still gonna be regulated by the Open Meetings Act.
Okay, then
So the
I was corrected, then, yeah.
The
okay.
only way around that would be, one of you or maybe two of you decide to take up beautification and you informally meet with people. It's not.
Follow the Open Meetings Act.
Well,
Well, no, we would have to,
either,
it's
either
the same.
follow the Open Meetings Act or make it just the beautification committee.
That's what I want, that's what we're doing.
And that's what our goal
Yeah,
is.
that's the
Yeah.
goal.
That's our goal.
Just it works.
But you're not gonna create a committee. You're not gonna create like a,
If an ordinance for a committee, correct.
yeah.
Right.
Or call it the City of Braidwood's, committee.
Okay. But that's our goal, is to make it a committee, less formal.
That's Barney, Brian. Okay. Somehow we'll figure that out where it's legal.
Easy to do.
Yeah. Hey, Steve, amend the rates for the hauling of waste materials.
Yes, so currently we charge $100 for a truckload of septic waste in our treatment facility. After speaking with Rob and George and other people, we think that's pretty low. Morris just charges $300 now for their septic dumping. We're looking to raise it to $125 per truckload. And we also are researching and coming up with a method where we can maybe meter this per gallon. Because some trucks might be 4,000 gallons and some trucks might be 2,000 gallons. And so the guy that's dumping 4,000 gallons is paying the same as somebody that's dumping 2,000 gallons. So we may have a way, Rob is researching that, and we'll be back to this council on a way to maybe generate some more revenue if we can meter per gallon, and then do a charge per gallon. And also, we're getting a lot of debris. We're getting socks, and we're getting toys, and we're getting all kinds of things.
It's been ongoing, yeah.
Yes, that we're fishing out before it gets to the treatment plant. There's also a filter that Rob knows way more than I do about it, that can filter these things before it gets down the chute into the treatment plant. And people might ask, why are we doing this? Why is even the city entertaining dumping septic waste into our treatment plant? One, if we do it right, it could be revenue generating. And two, we need the bacteria. More bacteria in the treatment plant is good. So the bacteria eats the solids and creates the sludge, and the more bacteria, the better. And so it's kind of a win-win if we can generate revenue and it helps with the bacteria counts. It is a win-win for the city of Braidwood. But right now, we're going with $125 a load, proposing, and then Rob and I will be coming before the council with a idea on how to monitor it per gallon to even raise more revenues potentially. Any questions?
No questions? Okay, we'll move on to the next. At least a 2024 Vacon truck from EJ Equipment. Steve, you're up on this.
So I'm gonna have help with this. So, this ordinance that's before you is authorize the city of Braidwood to waive competitive bidding and to approve the purchase order and lease of a 2024 Vacon with the VIN number, the style. It's a combination sewer cleaner from EJ Equipment in the amount not to exceed $471,060. The waiver of the bids is due to the limited availability of this type of equipment. It's used. It's a demo, so nobody else has owned it, so it's a demo, and it has our operational needs. I have Rob here to kind of go up to the mic and say, hey, why is this justified? And we've spent 6 months, I think, Rob, talking about this and looking at it.
We've spent at least 6
Why don't you go up to the
months.
microphone and kind of talk about the process we went through and why this is needed?
How it works, we've been basically looking at this for over a year, year and a half with them, all the problems we've been having with it. So we've been looking for one and seeing what kind we like. There's a lot of various different ones out. Our blower unit, we have problems with it as far as sucking different, either depths and tanks and stuff. And it works great for the locates. We go out and do locations and stuff before the locator gets there, and it works nice. We don't have to, worry about digging, the thing excavates great. But in other words, for the sewer plant, it's at its limit for suction, and we've just been having more and more problems. So we've been starting to look at it. It's in the E&J's where we bought the used one. I think we bought it in 2005, 5. It was used back then. It was a 99 model. So this one here is almost similar, identical, but they call it the PD blower. It's a different type of blower suction unit. We can get down deeper with it, and we don't have to use as much water. Where the one that we have now, you just have to inch the tank down, because it has to incorporate a lot more air. This one here, you just drop it down in the water in the bottom, and it suck off the bottom, and much faster. We went out and dug some test holes there by the water plant where the generators are gonna go, and we put 7 holes in a matter of about 40 minutes, where it would have took us probably half the day with the other one. But the old one, we started having problems. It's got some engine blow-by, meaning that it's got some leaky valves, and it's gonna need probably a set of rings. They estimated anywhere from $22,000 to $25,000 for the repair. The blower is weak, we know. They don't repair them, they just buy them brand new, and you replace them. That was another 40-some thousand, so now we're up to 70,000.
Yeah.
They were telling us that, we're like, well, we use this thing almost every day. We're gonna need one to use, and we're gonna need a rental. Rental for 1 month's $15,000. They're looking at about 3-month repair. Now you're at 45,000, you're up to over $100,000. And then if you do want to put the money into the repair, it's still 1999 model, it's still old.
It's still a $25,000 truck, no matter how much money you put.
And, well, actually, it's not even worth that much. They gave us basically $25,000 for the trade. So that's what we started looking at. What they do, E&J does every year, is they take and pull so many brand new models off the lot, and they use them for demos. And they spread them throughout the country, and then the year after that, they sell them as demo models, but still with new warranties with it. So I know I gave the plans, they have all the warranty with it and everything else. It's on a Freightliner chassis, so it's a good truck chassis and stuff. We used it, like I said, one nice thing about going with E&J is they're in Manhattan, they're close by. We get parts readily. Some of the other places we looked at, they're out of state. One of the companies said, oh yeah, we do real good, we're a cheaper unit, but we'd have to go and drive to Indiana all the time to get for parts. So if you want to do a service, you gotta drive to Indiana. Manhattan's nice and close by, and these guys did some great work. They've kept ours going. We do nice maintenance on it, so we've been keeping it up to the point where we did what we can. We got underneath it and started looking at the old chassis. All the hangers for the water tanks are about almost rusted through. I don't know what's keeping the water tanks up. So every day we take it's a gamble when we take it, we go out and use it. So that's when we started looking for the new. And the original price for this brand new was right around $690,000. So being that it's 1 year old, they brought the price down to $496.60, and then $25,000 trade-in value brings it to $471.60. And one nice thing was that we could take and do a 5 or 7 year lease to buy. They gave us 2 options where you can make a payment this year, and it'll be a little bit cheaper for up to 7 year payments, or you can do a 1 year after purchase. So we got actually 1 whole year from today that we could take and make the first payment next year if we want. And there'll be the balloon one-time payments per year for 5 or 7 years, depending on 5, 6, 7, upon whatever the lease we take and we go.
So we are looking at a 6 year lease. I think we budgeted, Liz, 90 grand, I think we
Yeah.
budgeted for the back on.
Yep,
So we're looking at the 6-year lease, and paying this year, right? Because the interest rates are much better, so it's 5.40 interest rate. If we do a 6-year, a 5-year is a 5.35 interest rate, you know, a couple decimals, right? But we are looking at the 6-year, paying this year, we have the dollars in the water and sewer fund, and then do a 6-year program from there. And I can tell, Rob explained a lot about what we were going through. We started this conversation probably last year, George, in a staff meeting, and every time we come back and say where we're at on this, more money was being said, okay, it's another 15,000 for this, and the undercarriages got rust, and the blower motor is 45,000, and it's 15,000 to rent. You start adding all this up, and I think Warren, you said exactly the same thing, the truck is only worth this much.
Yeah.
You're throwing good money
Yeah.
after bad. And actually, it's about a year and a half ago when we had the first demo, remember?
Yeah.
This has been an ongoing concern. Not only is it a machine that guys utilize all the time, it makes their job a lot safer, much more
Yeah.
safer.
Absolutely.
One nice thing about this one there is that you've got the new, not OSHA, but DOT specs for all the safety lights and all the fancy decals
Backup
and
stuff.
everything all on it for the lights that it's needed for nighttime and everything. It's got the air boards and things that was on it. One thing we did require that we told them we wanted on it was the box, when it was up in the air, to make sure it's got the up in the air alarm on it, which they said it will have it on there when we picked it up.
We don't need that, do we?
Yeah.
I think we do.
But, otherwise, they said that, they had the 2 of them, I think one was, had 15,000, another 18,000 miles on it. We took the one with the 15, with a lot less mileage on it. Like I said, the thing should last us 20, 25 years.
That was my next question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, do you guys keep that indoors? I just
Yeah,
got
it
curious.
stays indoors. Indoors in the heat building, so that way it's got water in it all year round.
Again, you know, when I first became, I had no idea that we had this or what they cost. It was first brought to my attention, the price. I had chest pains. I had no idea how much it was gonna cost.
Honestly, some of the demos that they're bringing out, they're 700, 800.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had no idea how
We
much
can't
it cost.
afford them. It's like, this is,
Yeah.
it's basic, similar to ours, it's got a little bit more updates on it, some electronic controls isn't here, they're over here, or what they are is they're close by to the operator station, instead of having to reach over or go get things.
Or jump in the cab, or.
Then ours is wired remote, this will have a wireless remote where the guy can walk around, or you'll have a thing where you can take and actually, use it. Because it's a pain with the wire wired in, then you got pulling cords around, and somebody's tripping over it all the time. So, but, it's very similar to our old one, and I'll say it's the sort of like, we're used to the old one, it's just like Brennan did.
And I was kind of shocked how often you guys use it, right?
Yeah, that's what we found out. We started,
Yeah.
we just started checking into it. I didn't realize that you guys use it daily. I mean, you guys just use it.
Especially with the
twice a day.
sewer plant,
There's
correct?
different locates, emergency locates and stuff, there's always going out to do water searches or lines and things. And we use it at least 2, 3, 4 times a month down at the sewer plant for cleaning the upstairs headworks with all the gravel and that. And,
You can use it for like maintenance to our storm trap, our water traps too, right?
Mhm.
I just called around to other towns and find out. Now, I mean, this might be crazy because it's such an expensive equipment. Can we rent it out and run it with other agencies, other towns to recoup some of the costs? Maybe we're better off not doing that, you know, because it is so
I would
expensive.
wonder what the liability would be, what it
Yeah.
would take to
Just,
resell.
yeah, just
How
a
much-
thought, yeah, just because it's so expensive. Like,
Yeah, but that's a lot more wear and
One
tear.
of our guys or our operators, and I just wouldn't turn it over to $500,000 machines in a year.
Yeah, no, I hear that, yeah. I just didn't know if we could recoup some of the costs just because it's so expensive.
Yeah.
15 grand a day?
A month.
I
Do
heard-
the other
Was it a
towns,
week?
Rob,
Was
do
it
the other,
15 a week for rent?
I had some of that. I guess Wilmington does not.
Well, I don't know,
If you
it
needed
was a month.
for a month,
Yeah,
15 grand a
it was,
month.
15 grand.
Okay.
And that's what I say, it's a capacity be done for 3 months.
Right.
Yeah.
Just to have the truck here so we can use it.
I've been around the sites where they're using it, the machine is phenomenal. And I'll go back to the safety feature. It really makes the job cleaner, it's safer for the guys in the pit. I've seen them in action many, many times, and it gets used often. you know, it's a very.
This has got a little bit more higher gallonage in the GPM for the flow for the cutting lawn and stuff. And I believe there's more suction to it.
Right.
Fan's a little big, PD fan's a little bit bigger. I think the jetter hose is one size larger. Is it an inch and a half? Inch? Okay, yeah, so there's delivering more GPM, more volume. And we had one of those vibrating cutter heads right into regular grass, and we were just stripping dirt down this far and just cutting slices, and we had a whole matter of minutes. We were the other one to do that.
All right, well, thank you.
Thanks, Rob.
Thanks, Rob.
Thanks, Rob.
Thank you, Rob.
Okay, next up on our discussion is the change of order from PT Faro to modify Stacy Court sidewalk.
Yes, if you recall, we designed, the project was designed and bid last year for the 2025 street repairs. We did Vita Court, we did 3rd Street, and we also did Stacy Court. Stacy Court, we made some modifications, so we changed from concrete to an asphalt surface. We looked at the drainage that's out there right now. Unfortunately, Stacy Court, the way it was designed, there's really no good drainage system out there. The storm sewer that runs along Bajera is about 2.5 feet deep. Not deep enough for us to actually drain anything that from the cul-de-sac bulb south. Right now, there are two culvert pipes at the south end of the cul-de-sac, one going west, one going east, that basically take the runoff from the road itself. It spills out through essentially just spilled out through a curb inlet before, ran over the sidewalk itself into the yard itself, and eventually found its way through those culverts into the low areas behind it. When we actually did the replacement work that we did, we kept that same style design because it's really what we have to work with out there. We made some improvements to the sidewalk for ADA, so it actually met all the slopes and everything else. But it was brought to our attention, you know, again, January, and then again in April, you know, after we had all those rains and everything else, and we had some, if you recall, in January, we had a period of time where it was frozen, and then all of a sudden we got a bunch of rain on top of that. The dirt hadn't taken, obviously, the seed, because the project was done in November. So obviously we had some incomplete seeding. So what happened is when the water runs off, it sits there in pools or whatever else and carries some of the dirt back onto the sidewalk. It's kind of unsightly, it's kind of a nuisance, kind of a safety thing. It's something it's been operating this way for 20 years because really that's the only solution. But we went back and looked at it again because the concern was raised by some of the residents. We looked at the sidewalk. We can raise that sidewalk and actually provide a flow-through path. We looked at, you know, kind of a box culvert to kind of bridge it. Those costs were too high. We came back with essentially it's 3 parallel 8-inch sewers. Again, we've got multiple sewers because we want to convey as much of that really intense rainfall off and out of that and into those yards. This will mitigate essentially the pooling and some of that dirt and everything else sitting on top of the sidewalks. It's still going to function the same. There's going to be times when there's still going to be water that's pooling inside the pipes, in the yard, and in that low flow gutter, but it should be off of the road and farther away. This is just a change order basically to change what's out there now, basically to elevate it, to raise it. The change order amount is because, again, they're going to have to come back out, remobilize. They've got smaller quantities for some of the concrete, so we were hoping that we were going to be able to use the actual unit prices from the contract. Unfortunately, that's not something that they were comfortable doing. So they provided an agreed unit prices essentially for this whole change order. It's $23,450. We still have, the awarded budget amount was $318. We have not spent that. Even with this change order, we'll still be underneath the actual awarded amount. But again, wanted to bring it back to council if this is something they want to do to fix that issue out there.
And it should fix it permanently, correct?
This will fix it, yeah. It'll flow like it does today. Water will still stand in the yards and will flow out through those culverts, but it won't sit on the road and won't sit on the sidewalk.
All right. Thank you. All right, final discussion for tonight's community of the whole is the bike path master plan proposal. Steve?
So we held a conference call, and I think I mentioned this to the council 2 weeks ago, with IDOT regarding 113 and the scope of services on 113. And one of the things they continually asked is, do you have a bike trail master plan or a pedestrian walking master plan that they wanted to incorporate into the 113? And we said, no, we don't. And then they were kind of saying, well, if we want to do this and we want to do that, we need to see your plan. And no, we don't have a plan. And so, and we also got denied our sidewalk grant today. It just went to 3 communities in this area, and we were not one of them, Plainfield being one of them. And so one of the things that they noticed, we don't have a pedestrian plan. It was one of the deficiencies in our grant application. So with that being said, and today, Josh and I held a Zoom meeting with RVI regarding our park site master plan. And one of the things that they showed, where we're deficient at, and who uses what, and what activities are out there for the Braidwood residents. There is a SCORP report, which is a statewide survey that they do regarding recreation. And according to the SCORP report, 60% of our residents walk. They check walking as part of the survey, is that we like to walk and we like to get our exercise by walking. And so a combination of all those external factors, we don't have a good plan for bike trails and for pedestrian plan. IDOT, it says, hey, we need to have that. The sidewalk grant was denied because we don't have a trail plan or a pedestrian plan. Add all those external factors up. I've asked Sean to put together a proposal on Robinson Engineering doing a pedestrian/bike path master plan. And I thought the price was excellent, $19,600. And so I'm asking the council to authorize Robinson to begin the bike trail pedestrian master plan so that we can have something to show the state and the grant application people that we do have a plan, there is some forethought, and we do have an overall idea of how we want to make Braidwood a walkable and bikeable community. Josh, is anything I'm missing from that conference call on the SCORP report? So that's what's before you. Any questions?
And not to call you guys out, but we don't have a lot, so I don't know why it's so expensive when we don't have a lot.
They're showing where there will be. So we don't have a lot.
It's what we have and what we
need.
will be, like a master plan where we, okay.
Correct.
Yep.
So it's gonna show like on 113, how does it connect to Shadow Lakes? And it's gonna show coming back. How's it gonna connect to Old Smoky? How do we get there? It's, things that we don't have. It's gonna evaluate what we do have and where we're deficient. And typically when you do a pedestrian plan like this, you look at your community park, which is Old Smoky. You look at your commercial areas. Can people walk to our downtown? Can we get there through different neighborhoods? Well, some can, some can't. So we take all that into consideration, or they do, and they put it all together and say, okay, we have easements here, but we don't have easements here. We can put a trail here, but so it identifies all of those things.
Good.
So this includes going out on Coal City Road too, right? A bike
Yes,
trail.
it'll encompass all of Braidwood.
Yep.
So typically when you do a bike trip master plan, you look at, or a pedestrian plan, you look at the loop around the city, and then how do we get inwards to the city, right? And to, again, focal points, Old Smoky, our commercial areas, our downtown areas, our new town center, Shadow Lakes. How do we get people to walk or bike to be part of the entire community rather than just being out on the outskirts? So yes, Liz, absolutely. And our schools. How do we get to and from our schools? Any questions? That's it?
That's good. All right, that's our discussion items. Next up on the agenda for tonight's meeting whole is public comment. Anybody have a public comment? Anybody in executive session?
We will have one after the regular meeting.
Okay. All right. Our next committee of a whole is Tuesday, June 9th at 6:30.
I'll let you know.
Okay. Yes. I have a motion for adjournment.
I'll make that motion. Second.
Commissioner Michael?
Yes.
Commissioner Weeding?
Yes.
Commissioner Dixon?
Yes.
Commissioner Walsh?
Yes.
Mayor Lyons?
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, we'll start the regular scheduled meeting at 7:20 in about 5.5 minutes.